So we have this kind of question from last unit. How would that have been a logs question? Let me show you. Remember how we'd make that into 2 to the 5th, you know, and then you could solve it from there. But what would this have been in the first place? This could have been log base 2 of 32 to the 5x is equal to x. Get how if I rewrite that, it turns into 2 to the x equals 32 to the 5x. So it's like we end up with a log question that turns into a question from last unit. What's the key? Rewriting. So I'll give you a nice simple one. Log base 3 of x equals 2. They will get progressively harder very quickly. What's the rewrite? Three. Yes. There you go. So the answer is 9. But wait a minute. Some kids go, it's 9 and negative 9. Did I ever do the square root on both sides? No. And even if I had, you got to watch out for an answer like negative something. Because if you think this answer is negative, you'd have another thing coming. You can't put a negative there. Even if it seemed like that was the answer, you'd have to throw it out. All right, so let's do one like that. Pausing. Okay, so if we put the x there and we put the 2 there, there we go. Solve. Your go-to strategy. Rewrite. Pausing. So my student said x squared is equal to 2. Now, what do we do to both sides? Now what? Yes, you can do this. I don't expect you to know that that's 1.293 or whatever. You just say square root of 2. But now what? Yes. Positive and negative square root of 2. And you leave it that way, and Mr. Server cries a little bit and marks off 5%. Why? Yes? Since it's a base, this, when you actually try the negative one, you're making the base negative, not allowed. So you'd have to break this into 2 answers and say it's square root of 2 and negative square root of 2, but that one is out. So that's your final answer. If you write ext, that's the ideal. You've shown me that you know that there's an answer there, but that it's extraneous. All right. Next, kids usually don't know this one well. Now, first of all, is what I just wrote true? No, it's not. Okay. Now, is what I just wrote now? Now, is it true? Yes. But here's the part that a lot of kids haven't noticed yet. You can put the 5 right there. All right. Some of you may not have caught that the other day. That is loud because if you want to, a number in the front could go to the power because either way the answer would be the same. Think about it. What is log base 3 of 3? It's 1. So if I do 5 times this way, or if I put this power as a 5, I hope you've learned this by now, that if these two are the same, the answer is the power. So that is helpful sometimes on today's homework. You want to put that number from the front up to power. All right. Fractions. Everybody loves fractions. All right. I'm going to make this H. Solve. If you said 3/7 to the 1/2 equals H, you were right. And do you think I really expect you to know the square root of 3/7? Now, if I had it in a multiple choice answer, I would expected you to know that it was the same as this. All right. Try this one. Pausing while you solve. Okay, so you should have 8 over 27 to the power of 1/3 equals x, and that may seem gross, but you can do it. ER, did you get an answer? Okay, that's a good start, but think about it. You know the cube root of 8, and you know the cube root of 27. Ah. Who also found 2/3? Okay, good. All right. So one last. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. Will you try to combine these two? Remember how to do that? And then you should be able to solve for x. Okay, I hope you noticed that this was an add, and then these two arguments get put together. Even smarter is to say x squared right off the bat. And then these don't cancel, but they mean that this equals this. So I hope you see that I'm setting you up again for a smart kid trap. Some kids will just say x equals 4, and they'll actually get away with it because that is a right answer. But you should say square root, absolute value of x is 4. So x equals 4, and x equals -4. And there are times when a negative answer could work. But this is not one of those times. -4 right here would not work because log base 2 of -4 is impossible. You can use a calculator, it would say no solution. Okay, so this one is one of those times where that gets crossed off and you write extraneous. How many of you caught that? Good, we practiced that enough. I think you probably got that by now. All right, so there's some weird ones when in today's homework. There's some that'll stretch you a little bit, but you're going to have a lot of time, and you just have one Schoology quiz. Most kids' last hour finished, and they'll walk out of here with no homework then. This is it. Just work on your Schoology quiz. It's your homework if you don't finish it. I encourage you to finish it. And that's all I have for the video for today.